YouTube, it's Atticus. How's everybody doing? I am back with you this late night with a really cool Lizardmen versus Greenskins. So yeah, staying on the theme of playing the pre-DLC races before they change. This was actually a good one. I have maybe 13 different replays I want to cast. I didn't, whenever I have a super cool game, I have 6 Dark Elf ones. So I figured this will be the last Lizardman Skaven one I do. Then I'm going to do 6 or 7 more Dark Elves. But this one was just so good, so I had to cast it. Greenskins is already a fun matchup to fight, especially as the Lizardmen. So yeah, I'm excited to bring it to you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the build. So for my lord, guys, I am bringing Krokgar. And I'm bringing him on the Horn one. So, if you look at his combat stats compared to the Carnosaur, his weapon strength is almost in par. I mean, 440 weapon strength. I think he gets 500 when he's on the Carnosaur, so you're still getting a whole crap load of, damage potential. And he's a lot smaller to snipe. He's going to have a lot smaller hitbox. And, it's a lot cheaper, obviously. So it allows you to kind of go bigger on your army. So we're going to take Krokgar. He's one of the best, he's a really powerful duelist. A really good anti-large lord, especially on this Horn one. You can see he has 120 armor, massive charge bonus, and just really good combat stats. So he's going to come in handy. He's going to be really good against any greenskin spiders and things like that. Also, I took the Hand of the Gods, or his ability here. What's that thing called? The magic missile one. I forget what it's called, but it won't let me click on it. But I did bring those buffs, and I brought everything else except for Deadly Onslaught. So almost a full package. Also, guys, I do have as you can see right here, a Skink Chief, and I took him on the Ancient Stegodon. So I wanted to have, this ain't the Bolt Thrower one, the one that you saw in my last Lizardman replay. This is the one that, will fire while moving and has the blow darts. For my front line, guys, we are going to go with Skink with Javelin. So yeah, the idea behind this is any Savage Orcs or any Orcs that just have low armor, they're going to get absolutely just shredded on the approach. So I have 4 units of them, and then behind them, guys, I have some Kroxigars, excuse me. So yeah, these guys are actually going to shred through Greenskins, especially if he doesn't plan for large targets in his infantry line. It's a really good pick that can really throw your opponent off. Protecting Krokgar, we have a unit of Temple Guards, which will be really good for that arachnid spider. Another unit of Kroxigars, and then also, guys, we have a Bestowed Solar Engine. So yeah, this guy is going to be focused on the spider the whole game, just trying to melt him. Also, guys, we have a secondary Skink Chief. So I have 1 Lord, 2 Heroes, and he's up in the air, and he's going to be running with these Pterodon Riders. These are the poison ones, so these guys are going to be hopefully trying to screen away any backline pressure, Wolf Riders, and things like that. And he'll also be able to snipe on Lords. He has 417 missile damage. Here in Deep Vanguard, guys, we have some Fire Leech Bolas. So we have a little bit of everything. Really powerful army. We're going to hopefully just get in the Greenskins' face and just pound through them, pound for pound. For my opponent, he brought a really cool army. He brought a lord you don't really see a lot. He brought Skarsnik, guys. So yeah, he has Gobbler. I think it's the name of his what are those things called? Gobbler. His name's Gobbler. God, I know what those things are called. There's a unit for him. But anyways, yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's not very mobile, but he's really good because he has expert charge defense, and he can give that in around a radius, anti-large, poison, and yeah, he's really hard to snipe too, especially if you have large targets. For his front line, guys, he has a mixture of Night Goblins, the Regiment of Renown one, it looks like, the Warlord Boys right here. Then he has a secondary line of some nasty skulkers. He has some goblins with spears, and then he has the rusty arrows, guys. And over here he has some nasty skulkers, and then he has a little powerful cav force. So we have some Mangery Marauders. These guys have armor piercing. We have some Death Creepers. So a lot of a lot of Regiment Renown cav units. And here in the back of the woods right here, he has the Broken Tusk Mob. So really powerful. A lot of Regiment Renowns. Really powerful Greenskin army. And then also, guys, he has a Shaman right here, an Orc Shaman. So. And last but not least, the Ragnarok Queen. So yeah, he probably has 5 different Regiment Renown units. So really cool army. So let's go ahead and start it, and we'll see how the battle goes. So right off the bat, as Jack Bauer from 24... Nope, wait a minute, I used that one. Right off the bat, as Alfred Pennywise said, we are just going to start moving up the army. So obviously, I'm going to start moving up the Bastillodon. I have the range advantage. He doesn't have any artillery and things like that. So yeah, we're going to try to open up on this Arachnid Spider, and the Solar Engine will actually do a lot of damage. I mean, what is he? Missile damage of 403. So yeah, and also it lowers accuracy and things like that. So here comes the first shot, and it's a big swing and a miss. It looks like the Arachnid Spider kind of jukes and jives and gets around it. You can see over here, guys, I'm kind of getting my Skink Chief and my Pterodon riders just to try to get a little bit of early damage. But yeah, look over here, guys. I was able to get a Hand of the Gods. I didn't see it, but it was Kroxagar's magic missile, and look how much damage that did at just one volley. We're going to get another Solar Engine hit. It's going to be a direct hit, and yeah, it's looking really good for us. Over here, you can see that my Pterodons are going to get in position, but my opponent is going to have his 2 archer units to try to screen them out. But these guys are surprisingly pretty spongy. Like, they could last a lot longer than you would think. So our front lines are getting ready to collide, guys, and we're going to start opening up with our javelins. And look at those volleys of poison. So you got all these poison javelins just raining in on these guys, and this is just free damage because I'm still going to have these guys in melee when it comes. You can see the Kroxagars are going to come charging ahead, and we're going to have a really good charge right here. Watch this charge bonus. Boom! Send those filthy goblins flying. My opponent does cast Wog. Let's go ahead and just slow it down here so I can show you guys what's going on. Over here, you can see that I'm going to come out of the woods with my Fire Leech Bolas and try to do a lot of damage. But yeah, guys, over here, these Pterodon Riders are just getting shot by these Deafy Creepers, Forest Goblins, and these Manji Marauders, and it's doing a lot of damage. You can see that these guys are actually a lot more tanky than what people give them credit for, and it's making them waste all their ammunition on the 700 unit Pterodons. Over here, you can see that the Skink Chief is getting ready to get in position, and when he does, he's going to absolutely just wreck through these orcs. We're going to get another really good charge, and yeah, the front lines are collided, guys. Over here, though, you can see Skarsnik and his Gobbler are coming for my Bastiodon, and yeah, that Bastiodon's a really good counter to the Arachnid Spider, so it really sucks that he does get in on him. Over here, you can see that these nasty Skulkers and the Skinks are in battle right here, guys, and we're going to have a spell from my opponent, so it looks like... Oh, where'd my mouse go? It looks like he did cast something, but I wasn't able to see it. But these Kroxagars are doing really good. He doesn't have much anti-large besides these goblins, and they have really horrible armor piercing. So it's looking pretty good for us. Over here, you can see that the Kroxagar is in actually combat with the Broken Tusk mob. I wanted to get these guys caught up so he couldn't get on my Skink Chief. And yeah, he's actually doing really good for a one-on-one battle, guys. He's actually holding his own. Over here, you can see, though, that we've broken these line of nasty Skulkers. I mean, the Ancient Stegodon is just so good. He's going to be wrecking through the lines. And over here, guys, you can see that Skarsnik is fighting against some Kroxagars. So yeah, Skarsnik's going to be actually really strong in that part of the battle. Over here in the back, you can see that my Fire Leech Bolas are just raining in on these Goblin Riders. But yeah, these guys, they're anti-infantry. I really want to get them into the missile line. And you can see that I was putting a lot of different, forces to shut down these rusty arrows. These guys are, armor piercing, so obviously I'm, having to waste some of my troops to try to chase them off the map. Over here, the Arachnid Spider, guys, is still causing a lot of damage, and Skarsnik's still at full health. But yeah, we have a lot of, killing potential. But my opponent's looking really strong on this left flank. You can see he has a lot of these troops, and the only thing really holding them up is these Skink cohorts. Over here, though, guys, you can see that Kroxagar is doing so good. So slow down again so I don't miss anything. I mean, this whole game, he's just been dueling these Broken Tusk mob, just one-on-one, and that's just a lot of wasted, killing potential to be, dealing with a Lord. And you can see I also have some, air overwatch put by my Skink Chief, who's also just raining in, shooting those guys, and each shot is pretty much killing them. Over here, you can see that the rusty arrows are coming back, but my Fire Leech Bolas, and this is what they excel at, anti-infantry, killing things like that. And, it's keeping these guys who are such a powerful tool for the Greenskins, pretty much keeping them worthless. You can see over here that Skarsnik is coming from my Bastiodon, which is a little bit unfortunate. He's a little bit, exposed, doesn't really have any support. But yeah, guys, you can see that over here, Kroxagar is just whooping on these orcs. I mean, that is one of the disadvantages of the Greenskins. They just have really horrible anti-large. Over here, guys, the Skink Chief, the Arachnid Spider, and the Kroxagars are just fighting, and yeah, we're going to win that battle. So everything that we have here, it's really going to add up. And you can see I'm going to get another Hand of the Gods onto the Arachnid Spider and drop it down to almost half health. Over here, you can see that Skarsnik and Gobbler are just fighting against the Bastiodon. But yeah, guys, you can see he does have his expert charge defense, Spite of the Bad Moon, and that's going to keep him from getting, thrown around like a ragdoll. Over here, the Orc Shaman is dealing with the last of the Kroxagars, and he has this really scary pocket of forces that are left. I wasn't paying attention, and some of my troops did go chasing off a unit, so I'm trying to get them back to reinforce my army, especially since he's getting ready to, collapse onto my Skink Chief. But over here, guys, I mean, look, he has 2 units trying to melt down my Skink Chief, and he's just so small at the hitbox. He's just not really doing that much damage. But yeah, look how good Skarsnik's doing, guys. On one-on-one battle with Bastiodon, he's actually whooping on him. A balance of power that was a little bit in my opponent's favor. You can see, especially now that he has the rusty arrows shooting into the back of my Bastiodon, it's going to melt him pretty quick. Even though I am, shooting my fire bolas on him, trying to, wear him down. Over here, you can see that the Broken Tusk mob is going to start running away. They were seeing that they were losing against Kroxagar, and he's just going to start running away. But yeah, I'm going to be really hot on his tails, and you can see I'm using these guys right here to just to give a little bit of poison damage. Skarsnik is going to get the Wog again, which is a really big, buff for my opponent, but I still got this Skink Chief on this Ancient Stegodon, and he's absolutely just, shredding through these guys, especially if all the Shaft Skinks that I have is causing terror, and terror is like a really big disadvantage for the Greenskins. Over here, guys, you can see the Rusty Arrows are finally going to break. Same with the Broskin Tusk Mob, so that is a really good pick for me. Being able to get those guys off the map is really going to, just make my life a lot more easier. And you can see that Kroxgar and Skarsnik are having a little one-on-one battle, but I am going to instantly pull them away, especially with these nasty Skulkers, and they're really good armor piercing. I don't want to be staying in that engagement. Over here, guys, you can see that he still does have a scary pocket of troops, but yeah, I mean, it's really going to come down to that Arachnic Spider. If he loses that, he's not going to really have the answer to, dealing with my troops, especially with these Temple Guard. You can see that Kroxgar is going to get a really good charge into the Arachnid Spider here. And yeah, they're going to have a little one-on-one battle, pretty epic battle. But I'm going to see that he's trying to come at me with Skarsnik and things like that. And over here, guys, you can see the Skink Chief is going to be just starting to shoot into Skarsnik, who doesn't really have that much armor, so every hit's going to do a lot of damage. You can see I am going to pull away with Kroxgar. I'm not going to want to stay in, sustained combat with the Arachnid Spider, especially with all these troops coming back. So I'm just going to try to look for an opening. And you can see, guys, yeah, we're doing really good at just dealing through the Shaft units. I mean, he doesn't really have an answer to these Temple Guards and to these Skink Chief. He really needs his Broken Tusk Mob. Over here, you can see that he's still wasting all his ammunition on both these units, just trying to shut down my Bastiladon Riders. And at this point, I mean, they pretty much wasted all their ammunition. Look, like they're both about dry. You can see that Skarsnik is getting Spider the Bad Moon, which is giving that expert charge defense to his whole army. And yeah, he still does have this Orc Shaman too, who's going to be a little bit of a, a little bit of a nuisance. You can see though that my Skink Chief is shooting in. You can see that he's going to be shooting his poison darts into the back of Skarsnik. And yeah, now we just have this really big mosh pit, guys. And you can see I got some Kroxagars who have come back. And they're really good at keeping the mass of the Arachnic Spider from, rampaging through my whole army right here. You can see that I am going to start focusing the Orc Shaman. I figured that he's, if I could get him to break, I might get like a leadership bomb. And you can see that Kroxgar is going to come in there and get a really good charge on him as well. Over here, guys, you can see that I got my Bastiladon back. So yeah, that's really good for me. I'm going to be able to start shooting into the back of that Arachnid Spider. Balance of power, though, is really strongly in my opponent's favor, though, guys. So yeah, it's looking like he might be able to pull this off. You can see that Skarsnik is fighting against the Skink Chief, though. And yeah, I mean, he might be small, but he does a lot of damage. But do you see that little poison dart that keeps hitting him in the back? Watch this. There goes another one. Boom. Every 10 seconds, my Skink Chief is just shooting him with 400-something damage. And it's doing really good. You can see Kroxgar and the Orc Shaman are having a little bit of a dance to the death right here. But yeah, Kroxgar is just going to absolutely just shred on, stomp him with his 30-something armor. And you can see, guys, we are going to break it. And that's going to put the balance of power a little bit back into my favor. You can see that the Bastiladon Solar Engine is starting to fire again, and he's shooting into the back of the Arachnid Spider, and he's getting ready to break. And you can see we have broken Skarsnik, guys. So yeah, if I could keep him from returning, you can see that I have my Skink Chief just shooting in. I'm going to use these Bastiladons, and we're just trying to keep him from routing. Same with the Arachnid Spider. You can see that the Orc Shaman did, I think he did die. Where is he? Yep, he did die. So now I have a really good, strong advantage. Balance of power is really starting to come into my favor. And you can see all his forces are starting the rout. So it's looking good for me. I've kept his Rusty Arrows from getting in the combat. You can see that, slow it down for a second. You can see that I put my Bastiladons in the melee just to try to keep these guys from shooting my Skink Chief. And you can see, guys, I've been really good at keeping his range units from being able to shoot my dinos. Over here, Skarsnik is getting attacked by these Bastiladon Riders and the Skink Chief. And yeah, at this point, guys, it's looking really good for me. Even though the Spider Hatchlings are here, they're going to be causing poison. And he still does have some nasty Skulkers. It's going to take a lot for him to maybe come back from this. You can see that leadership is the big problem for his army. He's really starting the rout. All his things are starting to break, and I still have this really scary dinosaurs. You can see whenever his infantry tries to get into combat, my Skink Chief just charges through them like they're ragdolls, and it's just looking really good for us. Over here, the Solar Engine is going to start trying to get into the Arachnid Spider. We're going to get another direct hit, and yeah, every hit is just, itching us closer to winning. Balance of power, though, guys, is still, semi in the middle. I mean, so it still could go anybody's way. But yeah, there it is. The Skink Chief is going to get the final kill and send Skarsnik and Gobbler to his death. So that puts a huge balance power lead in my favor. You can see that Kroxgar is hot on the tails of this Arachnid Spider. We're scaring away all these troops. And you can see that I have this really scary pocket right here of Temple Guard, the Skink Chief on the Ancient Bastiladon, and yeah, it's just looking really good for us, guys. You can see Kroxgar is not going to give no Fs, and he's just going to charge in on the Arachnid Spider and get a really good hit right into his back. The same engine, same time as the same Solar Engine shoots him and just automatically routs him, guys, and that's going to be army losses for the Greenskins and a win for the Lizardmen. So that was a really cool game, really powerful game. We'll go ahead and look at the end-screen breakdown and talk about some of the keys for Mike's success. And Did the game freeze? Nope, there we go. So looking at the in-screen breakdown, guys, Krokar was he really paid off for me. He was nipping on the tails of that Arachnic Spider, and also, yeah, I mean the Bastiladon Solar Engine was also just shooting him that whole game. But the real MVPs, guys, was the Skink Chiefs. I mean, the one in the air that was just shooting Skarsnik the whole game, you know, the one that was on the Pterodon, and also the one on the ancient Stegodon, who was just rampaging his whole line. And you can see 244 kills is nothing to laugh at. Also, these Pterodons, guys, did so good. I mean, he had to waste 2 of his archer units trying to just shoot just one of my Pterodons the whole game, and he really needed those, you know, focusing down the dinos. The poison of the Skink cohorts with the support of the Kroxigars is just a really powerful, synergy, and yeah, the whole build just worked really good. And for my opponent, like, yeah, it was a really powerful army. I think that he just maybe should have added a few more units of archers, you know, something that could have screened out my Pterodons, because, you know, the rusty arrows, those are your answer to anti-large. Like, you really need those, since you're really going to suffer with dinos. And also, guys, you know, like having Krokar go in there and deal with the Broken Tusk mob. I mean, you only think about it, he only has like 5 or 6 models that can hit Krokar at a time, you know, at a single time, and he's just so powerful, especially on that horn one. So it worked out good. So, all right, guys, it's Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that Lizardmen versus Greenskin. So that should be a sufficient amount of Skaven Lizardmen to send us into the new DLC, and I will see you guys next time. So have a good night. Bye-bye.